How to make a basic cloth mask. I've got a great little pattern here that I'll be using today. I needed, out of 20 centimeters of fabric, we could make 4. You need your cutting mat, rotary cutter and ruler will be of help. You can do it with scissors, but this gives a nice clean cut. I've folded my fabric in, it's already in half again, making sure you overlap the side where the selvage is, and then half again. So then we have 8 layers of cotton, which will give us 4 masks. We lay down the mask pattern. Now if the fabric you've used has got a pattern that's up and down, right and wrong side, whatever, you'll need to make sure that the top pattern of the mask, because the little dart in it is actually smaller at the top and larger at the bottom. So I've got the bees facing upwards in this instance, putting the fold of the pattern onto the fold of the fabric, and next we'll be cutting out with the rotary cutter and ruler. So I've started by doing one cut on the side edge. My next process will be cutting the top angle, so it's all straight lines, so nice and easy with your ruler, and you're cutting it all in one go. It's a lot easier than scissors. Scissors move the fabric a little bit too much. So the next one, and I'll show you once it's completed. So we're down to the last piece here now, and you see that there's lots of scraps left over for you lovely patchwork ladies. I'm sure you can utilise some of your little pieces like that can be used to make another project. So the last cut will be along here, and then we'll have had the pattern done. So the pattern has been cut out now with my rotary cutter and ruler. And as you can see, all the layers have gone through, cut through nicely, and we have our pattern ready to go. Now you will do the same cut. We're lining this one with cotton voile. Using all 100% cotton in most instances is recommended. You can do 3 layers and do a top layer of pretty print, a middle layer of flannelette, and an inside layer of voile or another light cotton, or you could do 2 layers of cotton, or to keep a lightweight one in the warmer weather, just do 1 layer of cotton and 1 layer of voile. It's all just to keep those hands off your face. So we're getting our little production line happening now. So I've already sewn my top dart, which is the smaller dart. So now we're starting on the lower dart, on the bottom dart, the chin dart. So I've set my machine to start with a reverse stitch and finish with a reverse stitch, depending on your machine whether you have that kind of stitch involved. And on my machine I also have a thread cutter, so I don't have to cut them apart at the end of it all. So you may just do one at a time and continue on. So you can see the reverse stitch starts automatically. When I get to the end, I press my stop button, my reverse button, and then it does the reverse stitch for me, and then my thread cutter finishes it off. So you can see it's quite quick to do it a few at a time rather than just the one. So the seam's about a 1/4 inch seam. I've just got a line on my foot that I use for a guideline that gives me that seam. It doesn't need to be a big seam. So we're nearly finished all the cottons now, and I will do the lining as well. So with these ones I'm just going to be doing a simple lining, a voile lining. The white line. Again, I've done the top dart, I'm now doing the bottom dart, and the same thing may apply, that we just start with one and continue doing all 4 together. Okay, we're stitching the 2 sides together now, so we've got right side to right side of the lining and the cotton, and we'll be inserting the elastics. So we need to leave a gap for when we're inverting it back. So I'm starting just we're on the bottom side of the print where the bottom dart is, so that we're leaving the gap the other side of it when we get there. So each time, so I'll be starting just with normal stitching, normal straight stitching, and when I get to the corner I've already got my little 3mm elastic inserted there. I will leave the needle down, we'll make it easier for when we're turning corners. So what I like to do is also reverse to anchor the elastic so it stays in place. So when it stops with your needle down, if you've got an electronic machine, leave your needle down. So the elastic's cut at 20 centimeters. It may vary a little bit from person to person, but you can always adjust it later, maybe put a little tuck in it or a knot if it's too big, but you don't want it too tight. So then we're coming up, this will be on the sides, so we're stitching up to the other, so So this is the loop, so I'm touching this. So I'll leave the needle down in the elastic to hold it in place, and you can see that the elastic is looped on the inside there. So we'll reverse stitch over that to anchor it again. If you go past the anchor, if your needle goes down too far over, just lift your foot up and put it back down, back to where you want your seam allowance. So we're coming up to the top side dart now. So just make sure you don't catch that elastic. Move it over if you have to along the top so it doesn't catch it into the top seam. So we're heading over now to the top side. I'll stop here a little bit just to insert the elastic. So there's my 3mm cut already. And you can leave a little bit sit out, it won't matter, just so you know you're catching it in, and it'll just go angled as if it was going angled out to the side. So we bring it up there, needle down and go over it 2 or 3 times, whatever you feel comfortable with. And then we get ready to come down to the bottom last one to attach in. Oops, another stitch to anchor the elastic, and we'll go over that twice. And then we're coming down now. I'll just go past the elastic just a little bit because this is where our opening is to invert. And I'll backstitch just a little bit, cut my thread off. So then we'll be reversing it back round now. So the opening's there as you can see. Tuck it right back round. And then just straighten all your seams out. You can stitch right round again now if you like to, but I don't feel the need to, especially if you're making quite a few. They do wash up fine like this. And then where your opening is, you'll be just doing a little straight stitch. So that's on the bottom part where the chin is. Now you can sew from either side, whichever's easiest. Tuck it in so that you've got plenty tucking in so it's not hanging out. Maybe from the top side so you can see your stitching, but make sure you go in a few millimeters so you're catching the underneath. So you'll start from the corner where that opening was from. And we'll just do a little reverse stitch, and then up we come to where the end of the opening is. And just another reverse stitch, and we cut our threads off, and your mask is made. So the print shows that that's the top side and the bottom side with your elastic loops for your ears. Thank you. One last thing, just I'm doing a few different colours for different family members, and when I'm stitching down the actual opening, I may not want, I'm very lazy sewer, so I've just stitched most of these in white thread, but just in the bobbin I'll put this colour and sew from the top side. And for the little boys, ones that I've made here out of some cute little skulls, I'll put the black in underneath and sew the top from the white side. If you feel that you don't want the other side, the plain side, coming out, you can stitch all the way around to make it look pretty too. So there's lots of different options, depends how much time you want to spend and what you want it to look like. So just do know that none of these are going to prevent this COVID-19 virus. They are just mainly to put on your face for a basic protection, but also to prevent you from touching your face, which will help you not pass the germs on from whether it be COVID or any other virus. So know that they necessarily won't protect you, but they're just more as a preventative. Thank you then. Bye.